Game 2, we'll get to picks and bans. What needs to be changed?
No hell. Or pick Odin. Give me one of those two. And Obey is the type of team that will run that back if you let them. Just, Sure. Yeah, you want to just give us the same sort of thing? Fine. That's fine by us. Dignitas, they're in the first pick position like they were last game, but this time instead of leaving RTO open, as Obey did, they decided to ban it away themselves. So this tells me that they're going for something else in that first pick slot, and I doubt it's going to be hell for the round.
You know what? So the pick for Obey will be the ban for Obey will be Fafnir. Dignitas in that solo lane has a variety player who likes his mages.
Okay. You can stop there. Hell's already banned.
I know, but I could have seen it.
I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it. No.
Imagine if it was Maniac. If it was Maniac.
No.
He definitely would have played it.
No, absolutely not.
Right.
So Dig is so done with healing that they ban Hell and then still first pick Serqet in case Obey goes for any healing at all. Like, we're done with that, dude. I don't care. We don't want to think about it. Yeah, you pick Ra. I'm gonna dive it and make sure there's no healing.
Does Obey pick Afro support here?
No. They've already secured first seed. They're already in. They're first seed, so they could like troll, I guess. But these guys have a lot of pride. They wanna 2-0 Dig and they want to beat them bad in order to make sure that Dig knows who the team to beat is coming into Super Regionals.
Everything with you is a troll. It can't be an experiment. You can't be trying something new. You can't be thinking outside of the box.
When the enemy team first
clapped hands for EmilZy, you gave him credit for like 30 minutes about him thinking outside of the box.
Yes, I did. And then if you pick Afro support into first pick Serqet, you are trolling me. Yes. That's a troll.
That noise. Think about that lock-in noise. That's me every time I look away from you. Just not looking at you, man.
That's you like slamming the door?
Yeah. Just like, well, they have one more pick.
Nice timing.
You like that one?
No, you're already off.
Guess the last pick.
If this is Afro, I'm gonna be really upset.
I don't respect you. I really wish it just came through right now.
You're waiting for the noise. Oh, it's Kuzenbo, so they're still gonna troll.
It's not a troll.
I know it isn't a troll. I know it isn't a troll.
A fantastic selection.
Not a troll. Not a troll. I'm sorry. I was trolling you by saying it was a troll, and I apologize.
I hate the word troll, actually.
I know. That's why I use it so much.
It's one of my least favorite words.
That's a great way to get no one to say that in your Twitch chat, Tom.
It's become one of these just over-abused internet needs to cover every base possible.
Oh, no, he did it. Really, Twig?
Hey, Taco. Needs to take over.
So there's been lots of talk
trolling me
about Twig. Okay, now are you agreeing that it's a troll?
No, of course not. I think this is an interesting battle plan coming out from Obey Alliance. You can tell because. Do
you want to switch chairs real quick? Because I want to hear how you think this is the battle plan for Obey Alliance. What's the idea behind the Kuzenbo jungle? Lay it on me.
I just cracked my knuckles.
It was nice.
Well, CaptainTwig in the jungle is going to provide a ton of displacement. He's going to be able to get around on the backside of different players and put them into enemy lines. Keep an eye on in the mid lane right now for CaptainTwig to make this play happen right now in the early game. Even past that, he's going to be able to use his Thorn, his Spike Shell, all the time. Versus QvoFred's dot damage uninterruptible, Zero's dot damage uninterruptible. Trixtank is going to be able to pop out his field, and then Kuzonbo is standing there uninterruptible. Just a ton of damage that CaptainTwig is going to be able to dish back onto the enemy players. Fantastic selection for a jungle.
Okay, so the real reason why it's actually not that bad here is because you do return guaranteed damage to Serqet off of her Last Breath ultimate. That's true damage that's going to be going to Serqet. As well as the percent HP off her passive, you can Spike Shell that and return percent HP back to the Serqet in big way. Once he hits level 12 and gets Thorns, that's what it's actually going to become impactful in that regard. But into Serqet, it might actually be good. Now, do I think it should be in the jungle? No.
Hey!
I think it should be in support. Or maybe even solo.
That wasn't me, by the way.
Oh, he actually threw his Nene Kappa. Ataraxia is in a lot of trouble on this left-hand side. I like him not using Purification Beads because he's either dead or not. And that's a really stupid statement, and I understand that at a base level. But Beads doesn't save his life in that scenario. He's either going to take enough damage with or without Beads, so you may as well hold on to it because early game Beads usage is so important. It is one of those factors where teams can really abuse you because you don't have any teammates around you. You may not have your CC Immune ultimate. So early game Beads are just as impactful as late game Beads, where those multi-man team fights are going to be happening more frequently. Mid game Beads, where there's going to be a lot to do on the map, usually not as bad to throw away, but that's really the only time where you can kind of escape those team fights and not have to worry about using your relics in spots that you shouldn't.
On the battleground of the gods, you're either dead or you're not. A Kuzenbo story.
Why is it a Kuzonbo story?
Because he exists, man. Listen, I just roll with what they give me. Can we talk about how this is...
What if Kuzonbo was a dog? Would you love anything on Earth more than that? Tom literally just shook.
I don't know. Barracuda might. Barracuda likes dogs and Kuzonbo.
I know he hates Kuzonbo. Does he really hate dogs?
He loves Kuzonbo.
He really doesn't.
He loves Kuzonbo.
I dare you to find me a hunter on Earth that likes Kuzonbo.
Barracuda loves Kuzonbo. He loves thorns. He loves farming. He hates fighting. He's a very passive hunter. There's the blink! Oh, it happened! But he got Serqet taunted.
Man, sick gank, Twig. No, that's just a good reaction from QvoFred, in all honesty. I don't think
that's a perfect reaction.
I don't think that there's any way that Twig turns that around in time, even if he connects with the push in order to get someone back in range for PrettyPriMe to follow up on it.
You want to blink behind them like a Tier Fearless.
Sure, or even you want to blink where they're near a wall to push them into the wall and CC them there for a long period of time. Probably not going to happen in that scenario for CaptainTwig, but knows that he's going to be going back to base soon. His buffs are coming up. He's probably not going to need blink in the last few moments. So more than anything else, he's really looking for Purification Beads there from either Zyrhoes or QvoFred.
Jokes aside, I really do like the Kuzenbo pick for CaptainTwig. Kuzenbo jungle, probably not something I'm recommending to, all of my faithful listeners. But Osiris jungle isn't something I'm recommending either.
What about your unfaithful listeners?
Those are the special ones. I'm not suggesting Osiris either, right? I'm not suggesting most of CaptainTwig's repertoire, because what he tends to bring out with respect to the Guardian or the tankier characters have a lot to do with team synergy and team follow-up, right? Kuzenbo is not Assassin of the Month anytime soon, but his ability to, like I said, pseudo-fearless a target into the clutches of your teammates really works out.
I just imagined Kuzenbo's face on like an Employee of the Month portrait.
Hey! That wasn't me.
God, this character is so funny.
He's just waddling towards QvoFred.
There he is, dude.
Even when he punches, he looks like he's like
smacking you upside the head,
giving you like a bad gesture. The speed buff stolen away by CaptainTwig. Captain Kuzenbo on the tear. PrettyPriMe up in the ultimate. Kind of weird timed ultimate. Variety gets hit by 2. There's a push forward, just capitalizing off of the fact that PrettyPriMe was already in the drums, but it's Xaliea that gets first blood. Solo later for Obey Alliance. He's in trouble, though. There's a dash forward. The zigzag is good.
Not enough.
Trixtank needs to finish up, but he gets controlled by the silence out of EmilZy. That's nuts.
Xaliea was outside the range either way, but getting that dash to connect with the monolith gives Trixtank another dash that would have put him in position to follow up onto Xaliea. Insane reaction from EmilZy.
That was incredible. EmilZy finds the snap turnaround silence in mid-dash. Love it. First kill to Obey, and now they're shifting over to the left side for the Oracles.
Love this Ganesh pick for Obey here. It interrupts so much of what Dignitas wants to do. It's insane into Terra. I mean, that's one of the interactions. Not only that, but you can stop her from crushing her 2 walls together from her second ability to stop that stun from coming out. Ganesh is just an excellent counter pick in general to Terra, because so much of what she does is 2-stage, and you can dash through those walls that she puts up with Ganesh's dash that allows you to pass through player-made walls. So that's just an outright counter pick in the support role alone. But also QvoFred, just about everything Serqet does takes some time. A Deathbane, you can silence it out in the middle of it when it's on one target. You can silence it out when it's going away. Cobra's Kiss, that's 2 parts. You can silence out the second part, you can silence out the initial cast, and then Ambush. You have to go into that stealth and then leap away. That could be silenced and take the cooldown as well. And don't forget, whenever Serqet latches onto someone with Last Breath, throws them, then you can silence upon her landing to make sure that she isn't going to be able to dash away right away after that. Ganesh is so good into so many characters. Serqet and Terra, 2 of them for sure.
Absolutely, and just really tussles with a lot of these extended performance characters. I'm looking at CaptainTwig and what he's going to be building now. You can see he started off the damage path, but after this, I think he's going to be going hybrid with the second item and then probably pure defensive as we get deeper into the build.
I think that this is probably going to be either a Dynasty Plate Helm or a Jade Emperor's Crown, as Variety's in a lot of trouble forced to use his ultimate. Xaliea expends his as well, but not as big of a deal because Xaliea can, of course, transform and get access to a second ultimate very quickly, so that's a win for Obey in the solo lane.
Robin solo. Is the character a problem or is it just a matchup right now?
I think that it's just the fact that Twig has gotten a lead on the right-hand side and put Qvo behind early on. The speed buff invades, there was a successful one earlier on, and that farm for your solo laner is really key. Robin solo is still okay. I don't think it's necessarily bad, and we've seen a performance go pretty well for Robin solo recently, but this is kind of a test run in my mind for Dignitas. Like, hey, if at land we pick Robin, can we put it solo?
Blink ultimate coming out from Kuzenbo doing nothing. Gonna zone Zeros out for maybe a second, but the ultimate really
Prime's
not
done.
that powerful. Prime not done. He's got a fear.
No ult.
And all 4 ticks send Variety the other direction. Variety doesn't have the ultimate available, so can't give chase.
No ult. That's the big key there. And Dignitas did manage to secure speed that time for QvoFred, which is going to... He didn't get the farm, I don't think. He was a little bit too far away to get the golden experience, but giving him just that buff alone allows him to get around the map to farm a little bit faster. Really important for him.
So a lot of times we do this sort of compare and contrast when we look at teams that are up a bunch of gold, but the enemy team is Fire Giant. We sort of, you know, well, where is that break even?
Sure.
Here we have a jungler down a level and a half, but the other one is Kuzenbo. How does that balance out?
Oh, Kuzonbo is up. It may as well be up 1 million gold at that stage. I mean, Kuzonbo is the one who actually counts for more. So the fact that he's already
more
ahead,
so than the other Serqet.
Oh, yeah. Easily. And Twig's almost level 12, and that's when Kuzenbo really starts to become fun whenever he goes Thorns.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be shocked if Twig goes for anything except for Thorns in that second relic slot.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think you're required to go Thorns on Kuzenbo. I don't think it's a choice.
Oh, the back animation. Everything about this character. Get out of my head.
Get out of my... All right, dude.
Well played. That was weird.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to say something.
That was really weird.
All right, I will go.
Everything about Kuzenbo makes me laugh. Thank you.
I was going to say everything about this character makes me laugh.
I think I was actually also going to say that, so I just changed it so it'd be less weird.
I like that.
Now that I admitted it, it's actually more weird.
It's a little bit more weird now.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some. That's what I always say.
I don't think it's as weird as Kuzenbo Jungle, so I think we're both in the clear.
No Dynasty Plate helmet for CaptainTwig. Going instead, what's probably going to be that Jade Emperor's Crown. There'd also be Celestial Legion helm, an item that doesn't see a lot of play, but it wouldn't be awful in this scenario, especially with EmilZy already going for a Jade Emperor's Crown. I don't think that... I can't imagine that's going to be the pickup for Twig.
I doubt it.
And without a heal on the Kuzenbo or on anyone for Obey Alliance, it's not going to be Lotus Crown. So I have to imagine that's going to be a Celestial Legion helm.
I would venture a guess. Going to allow him to be powerful, but still maintain his job as not necessarily the frontliner. That's kind of Xalia's job and EmilZy's, but, you know, a mid-liner, right? He's going to look to play that role again. Compare Twig in this scenario, I think, to Tier. I think that's the most appropriate comparison.
And that Celestial Legion helm is a little bit better anyways for the jungler than something like the Jade Emperors, because you get 60 additional power, and you also have that stacking physical protection buff that as long as Twig can stay out of combat for a while, he's going to come into the fights with that blink and be really, really tanky to QvoFred and Variety right off the bat.
Bay Alliance here in the enemy jungle looking towards the speed. They'll pick it up. No problem. Couple of ultimates after the fact, however. Dignitas left trailing. CaptainTwig picked up by a nice taunt, but goes directly to the ultimate. Variety separated from the squad. And it's a defensive ultimate coming out from PrettyPriMe. Knockup is strong, and soloed on the right side is QvoFred, dashing away to safety.
Ooh.
Now Xaliea with the beautiful presence. Big impact, and Variety in a lot of trouble. Dash forward, dash down! Variety, see you later. It's Xaliea.
Arkkyl up into the sky, looking for the snipes onto EmilZy, who can just barely see up over that wall. Only the last one hit, second one missed. So he's going to stay safe, will EmilZy. He'll be able to back to base without much more worry. Okay, it is another Jade Emperor's crown for Twig, which is already kind of interesting, but I suppose EmilZy and CaptainTwig are going to be at different parts of the team fight. So CaptainTwig's really looking to reduce the physical power of Arkkyl, while as EmilZy's looking to reduce the physical power of Kuvo and Variety as they're diving into the back line. But the whole reason, we talk about it a lot with Hu-Yi, the whole reason that Hu-Yi is so impactful at a pro level.
Early level 1 clear in the jungle camps.
And it's not just level 1, but it's the entire game. Level 1 being the most important of those, but all game long. Kuzonbo has the same sort of thing with the bounces of the Nene Kappa. I mean, Twig is out clearing QvoFred in just outright camp clear speed. And that is one of the big reasons that Kuzonbo is able to jungle, is because of how much damage he can do to jungle camps alone. Now, is he going to do that much damage to gods? Probably not. I mean, because you're not going to be able to do the same hitting someone with the first shot and the third ricochet like you can with Hu-Yi, because Nene Kappa stops on first god hit instead of continuing to pass through, as does Hu-Yi ricochet. So you don't have that one-shot potential like Hu-Yi has, but you can still one-shot the buffs, and
that's really what you want.
That's what Twig has gone for.
Farm and all that fun stuff, so pretty much what he's looking for.
There it is.
I mean,
Thorns.
Really? Surprise.
Yeah, but this is like the exciting time for Kuzonbo. Now he dares QvoFred to ult him.
I love how this is the exciting time for Kuzonbo, and he goes into his idle animation where he shows you his butt.
QvoFred, he's dead here. This amount of CC, last breath not going to save him. Prime is going to get the last hit for that one. Twig did receive that last breath ultimate, so now no need to worry about that for Obey Alliance for about 90 seconds.
Oh, the blink forward, pushing, but the beads are good. Zyrhoes going to be all right in the disapparate. I like the idea, CaptainTwig. Not going to be successful. Arkkyl with the late beads, and he'll roll away, kind of wishing he didn't hit those, I think.
Just worry about any sort of weird ricochet shenanigans in that little tiny corridor by red buff, as well as the fact that Ataraxia still had ultimate. So that is so much damage. If you are late, really late on those beads and really just don't commit them at all, then Ataraxia can actually jump up and knock you up in the middle of your rolling assault and keep you locked in those suns. So Arkkyl deciding to play it a little bit safer and try not to have that sort of highlight reel happen to him.
Mid lane still just not going to be able to find much of the fight that I think Team Dignitas are looking for. Just like game number 1, Obey Alliance aren't really giving Dig the opportunity to actually combat.
And that's what Obey does better than just about any other team, is just back it up. As soon as they get a lead, they don't try and push it any farther. But every time speed buff is up, where is Obey Alliance? They're on it. It's CaptainTwig, who now has a 3-level lead over QvoFred in the jungle. Level 14 already for the Kuzonbo.
That's kind of impressive, especially looking at, you know, the lack of Guardian jungle lately. But I think you pointed it out with his successful ability to really clear the camps.
Interesting. Is that a spear? It could be Spear of Desolation to try and give him some extra cooldown reduction on the jungle. Could also be a Spear of the Magus, because those spiked shell ticks are going to return damage and proc that as well to the enemy. So you can get some extra penetration for PrettyPriMe in the mid lane with that Spear of the Magus, if that's what Twig wants to go for. Could also theoretically be Divine Ruin, just to get that extra bit of penetration, as well as that anti-heal for things like Terra and Zyrhoes' innate heal in the kit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Trixtank ulted there. Not really sure.
I missed button.
Could be.
Finger?
Could be. No, you know.
That's an invitation to the Gold Fury for Obey.
no one here quite yet from Obey, except for Xaliea, who obviously can't tank that up all on his own. But this is a perfect time for them to fight because look at the difference in power level between Variety's build and Xalea's build. Having that extra mystical mail effect makes Xaliea that much more impactful.
CaptainTwig able to put a couple of bonus takes back on the enemy players. 50% of the gold fury and a quick leash. As Team Dignitas show their face. Still scoreless here for the blue team. CaptainTwig blinks forward and looks to keep it that way. Obey with 3, trying to increase that number. Dignitas' Variety very low. Over the wall. He'll be safe and sound. The rest of the crew not the same, although another jump from QvoFred saves his life as well. Xaliea all the way on the chase for Arkkyl, who rolls forward after landing from the sky. That's the kill they were looking for. Number 4 specifically for Obey Alliance. When the Hunter gone and everybody else leaving to tend to their wounds. Obey pick up another Gold Fury. Just shy of 17 minutes here, folks. It looks like Obey Alliance are going to be up about 5,000–6,000 gold.
It's no shake and bake, but Watery Grave and Dharmic Pillars end up working together really well. It's CaptainTwig pushing the enemy members of Dignitas through the bug zapper of EmilZy's ultimate to make them lose protections, get slowed, and take that big chunk of damage. This is clearly a composition that someone has had to deal with in scrims, and it's working out thus far.
Listen, man, shout outs to Paperbat. It's sort of like a cheeseburger with a Frosty on it, man. It looks and sounds disgusting, but for some reason it's working.
I can't say I've ever had that.
It's something he, like, swears by.
That does, and I will admit, it does sound disgusting.
It's one of those things that, like, I imagine you specifically would fall in love with.
Yeah, I do like
you like weird stuff,
things.
Yeah. But not ketchup.
Well, that's the grossest of them all. It's not my fault.
It's very plain. It's
While
very
everyone
basic.
in Twitch chat is mad at me, I should probably get it out now that I also hate ranch. So if you, I'm usually of the opinion that if I get it all out at once, they'll forget about it at once, and then they can try and forgive me instead of just, hey, you know, I don't like this, and then everyone gets mad, and then it's, oh, I don't like this either, and then everyone else gets mad about that, and they're like, oh yeah, and you don't like that. Look, I don't like anything.
How do you make friends?
I actually haven't ever. So if you could like help me with that at some point, it'd be appreciated.
There's the blink forward, but the follow-up blink from CaptainTwig. He thought he was all by himself.
Cuvo might
just...
No, the Terra's Blessing speed buff is enough to get Cuvo away.
I love how he has to use the zigzag on the mini Kappa. Big boy Kappa on the front side, however, taking care of business alongside PrettyPriMe. I love how CaptainTwig's backing in the team fight. Just backing in the middle of the team fight.
See, that's the hidden thing about Kuzonbo is that back animation is actually also a great motivator for your team. It gets everyone real pumped up, and so your team's doing extra damage.
I don't think that works that way.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think that works that way.
I've been playing wrong this whole time.
That's not a surprise. Zyrhoes in the mid lane, trying to deal with the Kappa man himself. That Nene Kappa doing so much damage. In fact, Kuzenbo sitting here forcing out the ultimate. Zyrhoes takes down CaptainTwig,
our hero,
and his God-given talent in the jungle.
Zyrhoes. That's what we needed. That's some good old-fashioned mid-lane mage damage into the dirty tank jungler. That's what I like to see.
Well, CaptainTwig activated Thorns.
Who cares?
If Zyrhoes is playing a traditional mage there, he might die.
Maybe. Twig is so low that he's willing to take that return damage because Twig's abilities are on cooldown, and Zyrhoes pretty decent at dealing with that Nene Kappa, at least with the ultimate. Now, Nene Kappa is actually excellent into Soul, and Kuzenbo is as well because of all the return damage you can put onto her, as well as that having Stellar Burst stop at the first minion hit, it could end up hitting the Nene Kappa and stopping that damage from spreading throughout the team fight.
Sure, I think that the off chance that Kuzenbo gets that kill onto his old teammate Zyrhoes is a bigger deal.
Variety steps right on the line, and EmilZy right there in time.
Sprint not good enough.
To be able to knock him up and keep him on it. That's the Ganesh combo. If you want to learn how to get kills as Ganesh, because you have to solo someone to actually get it with your passive, it's doing that to someone. Laying down your ultimate and locking them on it with your 3. Look at how much damage Variety took from that combo very, very quickly.
I do want to cover briefly, though, that also combined, we were talking about the Water Grave, or you brought up the Water Grave combination, that the damage that you take is twice a second. So you get hit every 0.5 seconds. So you're not going to, you know, I don't know.
You're not 100 to 0ing someone.
Yeah, don't grab like a Fenrir and try to smack him in and out of the bug zap or anything anytime soon. The Shake and Bake not alive and well here, but still a ton of damage. Just like that Nene Cap.
QvoFred with the Hide of the Urchin to try and deal with some of that damage. Coming from CaptainTwig, who has not gone for a Hide of the Urchin himself. Instead, for a Spear of Desolation. Now, Kuvo has done a great job of catching up in this game. He was down 3 levels before, and all of a sudden, now he's only down about a level, sitting at level 15. Okay, not in a horrible spot. Sure. Now, Variety being down 3 levels to Xaliea and being 0-3 in this game, it is a much more impactful scoreline than what QvoFred, who has gone into dedicated, I'm farming, don't talk to me sort of mode, which all junglers need to have whenever they fall behind, as Kuvo did in this one.
Interesting side stat. Both games that featured Team Dignitas with only 1 kill, both came by way of Zyrhoes. That's the whole stat.
There it is. That was interesting. Thank you, Tom.
They're both in pretty, like, exclusive combination as well. It wasn't like Zyrhoes picking somebody off after a team fight. It's just like Zyrhoes trying to grab a kill somewhere and then finding it.
I can hear angry Zyrhoes right now just being like, what are you idiots doing? I can get kills.
Yes.
Twig running down Arkkyl. This is what Kuzonbo does better than any character in the game, is just say, hey, Hunter, you aren't allowed to participate in this team fight.
And you know, the thorns popped. It's less about the damage you're returning and more about the damage you're deterring. And so he's just keeping the Hunter out of the whole team fight. QvoFred able to take care of CaptainTwig as he joins his Hunter, however. And now it's a 3-on-3 on the top side. Jump out from Variety and jump out from PrettyPriMe as well. Xalia's going to keep chasing, however. Nice shell to help out as Trixtank follows suit. 3-4 players in Obey jerseys near the Gold Fury. QvoFred with a big save onto Arkkyl there.
That is key in just getting some momentum for Dignitas. They need it desperately. And another kill onto CaptainTwig, and Trixtank needs to be careful, but another big stellar burst from Zero's Prime, likely to fall here. Needs only 1 more auto attack, and he'll find him.
Beautifully played by Zeros. Ataraxia gonna jump in place as Zeros again tries to find something. Can't do it though. Xaliea with the thorns disperse just in time. And you want to talk about watching a man play hero ball, trying to put the team on his back. That is what we're watching here at Zeros. Just like, no reason he should be chasing these kills except for right now when he has to tell his team, this is possible. Please help me do this. Let's just win this game. We're not losing to CaptainTwig on Kuzenbo. This is a personal fight for Joachim. I'm telling you right now, Zeros takes this one more seriously than others.
Without a doubt. And he's got a lot to worry about, though. It isn't just Twig on the Kuzenbo jungle. It's
that's the
Xaliea
problem.
being 5-0 on this Chulainn. I mean, he is massive. He's got the Hide of the Urchin done. Only 1 stack on it so far. But with the team fights going the way that they had been before this last one, Obey probably thinks that's going to be stacked up quickly. But CaptainTwig did his job and then stayed way too long between enemy towers. If he does the exact same thing to start off the fight, which is force Arkkyl back, that's already good enough. Come back to the team and get some support.
CaptainTwig did what he needed to do. You're talking about that fight. Let's talk about the game. CaptainTwig did what he needed to do by getting his solo lane ahead, and then just continued to be relevant. That's the problem with this choice here for Kuzonbo for Team Dignitas, is that if he got his solo lane ahead and then fell off or didn't build damage the way he chose to do, then this is very easily said, okay, you got Xaliea ahead, avoid Chulainn, and let's just, you know, win the rest of the game. QvoFred versus CaptainTwig, who cares? But Twig did something that you're very rarely going to see. He builds full damage, and he's wrecking it.
Top of the team.
He's top damage of the team, man.
Only angry Zeros.
Only Zeros is ahead of him.
Impressive. It's impressive. thus far. We'll see how it transitions into the late game as Zyrhoes continues to try and do it all in the mid lane. Variety giving the first one into this tower. It's
Look at the
one
back
auto
end.
attack
Look
away,
at the back
and there
end.
it goes.
Look at the back end. Here comes CaptainTwig pushing Trixtank into all of the nonsense. Xaliea gets number 6 in total, all off of the support of the jungle Kuzenbo.
Okay, well, Ataraxia did most of the damage with the Suns, but it only does that much damage because of CaptainTwig, who
Because of
finds
that play,
another
he
one.
does it again. He pushes the jungler, and PrettyPriMe gets the kill, all off of the support of the jungle Kuzenbo.
Variety doing his best trying to defend this tier 1 tower. Zyrhoes falling very low as well as Prime gonna dash in with that Thunder Crash. CaptainTwig is zoned away. Arkkyl nicely with the Thorns and Spike Shell. Variety very low, but Obey doesn't want to continue to dive that tier 2 tower. No Gold Fury call. Instead, it's going to be the Portal Demon most likely for Obey.
Cancel the back.
I don't think he's got the... Well, he's got...
I don't think he's got the damage.
That's what I was going to say, but Variety's only level 17 and has the Genji's guard. PrettyPriMe trying to do his best to deal with Variety, who still has that overhead kick available, and PrettyPriMe just trying to keep him away from the Portal Demon.
Ult. No. Ult
Silenced.
away, ult away, ult away, ult away.
He was silenced
Yeah,
by
very good play
EmilZy.
by EmilZy.
And that would have been big, though. Not as big because there wouldn't have been multiple members of Dignitas waiting to come through the portal as CaptainTwig was for Obey. So that's the real game-changing play is to steal Portal Demon is when your team's in base, they're trying to come through, you steal it, and then come through and kind of wipe the team fight out from there. Variety could have gone for the steal, but would have died in response, and who knows, maybe that opens the door for Obey to go for a Gold Fury. Probably best that he didn't ult in.
So there is no doubt in anybody. A lot of times when we watch these games that have no implication, EmilZy in trouble, drops the ultimate, going to get taunted, but he'll be fine. Game number 1 solidifies Obey being rank 1. They're going in with the first seed. A lot of times when we watch these games, they're silly or they're a troll or something. I have no doubt in my mind that all 10 players here are playing their minds out.
Yes.
This is not what you would call a troll game. CaptainTwig on this Kuzenbo jungle, I've seen him tweet about it. Always just kind of assumed he was having a giggle. This?
What is like the British term for that? Like
that's literally the British term, having a giggle.
A giggle? I don't know about that. Really nice initiation there by Trixtank as Prime is already in a lot of trouble. QvoFred gonna go along for the ride as he applies that last breath, but Twig right there with the peel. Xaliea gets number 7.
Variety able to continue, though. Finds 4 for his team. Ataraxia isolated, ageist, and he's just gone. Zyrhoes get a very important kill. It's 2 for 1, but there's CaptainTwig making it 2 for 2. Variety answers back. There's number 3. Zyrhoes close to death, being chased down by Xaliea. Needs help, otherwise he's toasted as well. The slow, not good enough. Here comes help by way of Terra, but not enough peel. Dashes forward to slow him. It's a 2-on-2. It's solo support versus solo support. Who's going to raid up on top? Variety has to deal with the ultimate coming out of EmilZy, and the retreat is strong. 3 players die on both sides.
Ataraxia just got no help at all. Everyone was so worried about peeling for PrettyPriMe, and Variety does a great job of confirming that up and over red buff wall anyways, and someone needs to stick near Ataraxia in these team fights a little bit better. That fight almost ended with Obey getting another kill onto Variety, but doesn't end up getting hit with the same combo twice. EmilZy drops the ult, waits for Variety to walk over the wall, but as soon as he does, Variety uses the overhead kick, gives himself some immunity. Good team fight there from Dignitas, who came into that fight down 7,000 gold and ended up trading even. Again, big part due to Zyrhoes. 28,000 damage on this soul. That is crazy. I mean, the next closest is CaptainTwig with 21,000. That is a big margin.
They're down 6,500 gold. I think that is still absolutely winnable for Team Dignitas. And then when you add, you know, what I think that these teams have earned sort of like a they get the benefit of your doubt when they're behind. These teams can extra win. Zyrhoes is what's keeping them in this game.
Without a doubt.
By himself.
And he's almost got Rod of Tahuti as well. Demonic Grip, the pick, to give him some extra penetration after the Obsidian Shard. A little bit scary against CaptainTwig because you don't want to be hitting him with consecutive autos, but could work out.
Zyrhoes in trouble. He gets ulted by the world, and he's going to be safe and sound for the moment. Xaliea giving him chase. Meanwhile, up top, there's QvoFred isolated by 2 different members of Obey Alliance, but everybody gets out of jail. No big deal for Dignitas. And they're able to trade out a Trixtank ultimate for both PrettyPrime's and Xalia's.
Not a bad look, but remember, Xaliea will de-transform, go back to human form, and should have his ultimate up soon enough. Not a lot of cooldown reduction in that build, only 10% from the Gladiator shield, but still not too worried about that. Trixtank, on the other hand, is going to have to wait a little bit longer. He's got some CDR as well from the Spirit's Robe, but Terra ult on such a long base cooldown because of that global nature.
So what I was getting into is that, you know, I've seen CaptainTwig tweet about this, and it always seems like he's just having a giggle. But this is real.
Was that a period or a question mark?
Both.
I guess question mark does have a period like at the bottom of it.
It is a statement, but it's a trepidatious statement. It's a cautious statement, and it's one that does ask for your input. CaptainTwig started a team fight, pushing Zeros out with his ultimate, and Ataraxia just collapsed on Variety with a very aggressive flank there. The rest of the fight just filtering down the corridor between the two buffs. Xaliea going right, the rest of the squad going left, just looking for Zeros by himself and just bringing it to him.
Xaliea has just been a beast so far this fall split for Obey. Now it's got waiting for on the bottom as Arkkyl has to dash away. Gold Fury goes easily to Obey as someone is trying to save Arkyl's life, but no one can stop Xaliea.
What do you do here? What do you do here? 4-2-6 for PrettyPriMe. Just out of control. Fire Giant started and will be finished by Obey Alliance.
Ataraxia and EmilZy can two-man this without much worry. EmilZy's plenty healthy. He's already level 18. He's got 4 stacks of that Hide of the Urchin. Gauntlet of Thieves as well. So even Ataraxia is a little bit tankier. Meanwhile, the rest of Obey, they're going to be pushing down that tier
So what's your honest take on Kuzonbo jungle? Because you and I, and we've spent the majority of this, perhaps unfortunately so, kind of jocking him a little bit.
Sure.
But you and I have been sort of waiting for the moment that Kuzenbo was taken seriously by the pro players. He has a lot of serious upsides, and I just, what's your take on?
Do not get me
jungle?
wrong. I think Kuzenbo is insane. I think he's absolutely nuts. I think he's one of the best gods in the game right now.
Really?
In a competitive level, yes, because I don't think anyone does what Kuzenbo does better, and that's taking hunters out of late game fights with little to no recourse. I think it is insanely powerful at a competitive level. Now, I'm not saying he's a top 2 god in the game or a top 5 god even, but when there's 90 gods, being in the top 15 includes you as a top god, and I do think he's there. Now, Kuzenbo jungle is not something that I think many players can pull off. And I think that Twig is one of the few that can excel in a situation.
Which is sort of what I was saying before. Left side action, Trixtank trying to get out, gets hit by the blink, Kuzin nonsense, and ain't nothing saving Trixtank after that one. PrettyPriMe puts a dot on what the Kuzinator started.
But there's so many factors to making sure that this Kuzenbo can survive in a competitive game, and a lot of it is getting pressure in that solo lane, having your solo laner be an aggressor and kind of diving alongside with you.
Well, we've identified that one of the overlooked things about Kuzenbo is his jungle clear, which gives you pressure by nature.
Right, but he's not a good fighter in the early stages. You need someone who is. Cullen is one of the best at fighting in the early game, which is why they pair so well together.
For the poke?
Because you just can't fight him pre-5 because he does more damage and has more abilities than you.
But I mean, when you say you want a fighter, you want that poke.
No, I want someone who, if they're going to invade my speed buff, I want my solo laner who's going to beat him up for coming in there and trying to take it away.
I mean, in that sense, Kuzenbo isn't so bad. The Nene Kappa and the push at level 2, even if you're just at level 1, the Nene Kappa is a slow end damage.
Yeah, but it's not a lot of damage, and you're really just there to set up. Kuzenbo gets his damage from you doing damage to him. Yeah. That's where he gets this 25,000. Twig himself has probably done half of that.
That deployable, this does a lot of damage.
It does, but in the early stages, you need someone who's going to do damage for you because they won't do enough damage to you for you to do damage to them.
Yeah, that Kappa also doesn't deal damage very much at rank 1. You need 3 or 4 ranks in it for it to really start swinging. Then you're able to chew up mages. But right now, or early on, probably not the best. But that's sort of what I was saying was like, yeah, you know what, I wouldn't recommend Kuzenbo jungle to anybody. But I also am not recommending half of Twig's God Pool. I'm not recommending you pick Ratatasker and build full tank. You know, there's a lot of things that Twig does that I don't recommend. You know, but CaptainTwig, one of the best junglers in the world right now, making it happen.
Kuvo just made a huge play on the backside. He just did so much damage to Ataraxia and a lot of CC to the rest of Obey. Problem is, he's too far behind, and it's not going to secure Dignitas a kill.
Zyrhoes being chased out of the left side. The Kappa going to be giving chase alongside Xaliea, trying to chase out Variety as well. And it's CaptainTwig that chases out Trixtank the hard way.
Xaliea just handling 3-4 members. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. He's 9-0-5, and he has been, in my mind, just as good as Maniac was for this roster.
Again, talking about Xaliea, which is funny because we talk about, you know, Xaliea hasn't looked this good in not just a split or two.
No, years.
Literal years. I'm talking, I mean, Xaliea maybe season 2.
Maybe.
And that's, I mean, season 1 Xaliea was somebody that you give an applause for.
He was really good.
And even beyond that, when you talk about like before the Smite Pro League, you know, was initiated or inaugurated, this guy made a name for himself. That's why you know Xaliea. Not because he played mediocrely at the end of season 2 or season 3. Y'all know Xalia's name because he destroyed players with unconventional picks and had an attention to detail. And something has changed with him taking on this solo lane position for Obey Alliance.
Well, what do we talk about with EmilZy and CaptainTwig? Unconventional picks that destroy you with them, and it has attention to detail. It's a perfect combination between EmilZy, CaptainTwig, PrettyPriMe, Ataraxia. All these guys think about the game so much and then have the mechanics to back it up. It is 0% surprising to me that this is one of, if not the best team in the world.
Oh, here it comes. Blink. He gets to watch the Nene. There's the ultimate on the Zyrhoes. There's the push right into the PrettyPriMe. We've seen that one before. Prime gets another.
But Twig's got a body block for Prime here to try and keep him alive because there's lots of members in support for Dignitas. Kuvo's going to pick up Ataraxia all by himself on the right-hand side, and Arkkyl does finish off PrettyPriMe as well.
But Twig gets the kill on Arkkyl with the thorns while Arkyl's shooting him. He gets the kill with thorns. CaptainTwig getting it done.
2 for 2, mid lane and Hunter for mid lane and Hunter, and that's good for Team Dignitas because Zyrhoes is already super fed. Arkkyl already is nearly full build. He doesn't need a lot of extra gold. The guys who need gold are those left alive for Dignitas. QvoFred needs to finish off the last part of a tier 2 item, and when you need to siege, you need those damage dealers, so this buys Dignitas a little bit of time.
Variety here to just sort of say hi. He's going to just literally walk in the middle of everybody, avoid the push coming out from CaptainTwig. Still, not a lot of damage, so doesn't have much to be concerned with. His Obey Alliance, and they'll push Variety around, but this is a tanky round we're talking about. He's just here to watch the Nene.
No. No.
Look at how he dies. No what?
No, it was like a watch me Nene sort of joke.
No, it was no.
Yeah,
no,
it was.
No, it wasn't. Jokes aside, no, it was no, it wasn't. I make bad jokes. I'm not unaware of the no. Fire Giant goes to Obey Alliance, nice and easy.
Then it was an unintentional. That's an unfortunate choice of words.
No. That's the voice line. Watch my Nene. Why is your brain exploding right now?
Yeah, it says that because of the reference, Tom.
Right, I know.
So by you referencing that, you are referencing the reference. It's the transitive property.
No.
Just because you're full of regret doesn't mean it didn't happen. Mistakes. Sometimes they're okay, and sometimes they're not okay.
Trixtank.
That was an okay mistake.
Making one of the not okay mistakes. He's brought himself down to about 20, maybe 10% HP just from his positioning.
Oh my god, the Nene Kappa just chunked Arkkyl, and now he's gonna die.
Ataraxia gets number 21 for Obey Alliance. Variety on the right side being controlled by the Kuzonbo. And meanwhile, Kuzonbo just tearing it up. 34,000 player damage here for the Turtle Man himself. No, I'm not talking about killing the Hun. I'm talking about Kuzenbo here in the middle lane, wrecking face. Phoenix goes down. Ataraxia has to run away. You know who doesn't? CaptainTwig. He just chooses to.
I don't say this often. I actually don't think I've ever said this before in my life, but I really wish that I could have watched this game with Twitch chat. Because you know they're just going nuts.
Oh, yes,
this
absolutely.
whole game.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine like the Nene and Kappa spams, like the Kuzenbo, like PogChamps?
Here's the one thing that I don't need Twitch chat to know. They're going to spam one. Just one.
That's your favorite.
Press 1 if aggro is human Ratatasker.
Really? We've moved on from Forehead IRL?
Either way.
All right.
But human Ratatasker was fresh on the mind. They're all pressing 1 right now. I'm not even looking.
You're probably right.
Hey, our stage manager's pressing 1. Way to go. Thanks, Matt.
It's messed up, Matt.
Obey couldn't bark through on the right side. They'll have to back off here. Fire Giant still in tow for a couple minutes or so. 4th and 12 for the CaptainTwig the Hun.
37,000 damage as well. Top of his team, only behind Zyrhoes, who is still just hanging on the edge of the cliff to try and keep Dignitas in this game. And
hanging on the edge of the cliff.
Yeah, he's
really, you're really painting a picture for me here.
That's my
Your
job.
word choice is beautiful.
That's the way it's felt for this game for Dignitas. Is Zyrhoes. You know, it's like one of those like barrel of monkeys sort of looks like where they're chained onto one another. It's all of Dignitas hanging on to Zyrhoes, who's hanging on to the edge of the cliff.
You ever see Jurassic Park?
I have.
You know, the RV is like falling. Yeah, Zyrhoes is the guy that doesn't exist. It's like holding the RV on.
Yes.
It's like, no, I got you.
Yes. We're on the same page again.
See, that's why we're co-commentators.
Sure.
Whoa. That
I just showed up because the schedule told me to. That's the main reason.
left side, Variety in some trouble. He's going to be silenced out. The jump backwards from the Hunter. This is where my co-commentator speaks.
Oh, okay. Nene Kappa goes in to tank up that Phoenix. Will not remove the backdoor protections, but does just enable...
Blink forward from CaptainTwig.
Pushes Arkkyl back now with the Spike Shell. Delivers Trixtank to the entirety of Obey, but not enough damage to bring him down quite yet. He'll be able to dash away as the Dharmic Pillars come down from EmilZy, all in the name of just zoning all of Dig away from this left side Phoenix.
Meanwhile, CaptainTwig still getting his push on to the left-hand side. Variety in trouble, has to bark away and jump away, but as QvoFred started the party loud, taking down the Hunter, one of the biggest late-game threats you can deal with. PrettyPriMe is able to take down Arkkyl. Both Hunters are down for the count. 4 on 4. There's the Nene Kappa chasing out Zyrhoes as well as a little help from the Raijin guy. Now Xaliea jumping forward, Variety in trouble, Trixtank in more trouble, QvoFred in none, but also causing no trouble himself. Obey Alliance can't take down this left side Phoenix, and they walk away.
Nice defense by Dignitas, and that's with Ataraxia being able to jump over that ultimate coming out of Soul that has done so much damage to him in the last Phoenix Siege and really throughout this entire game. Qvo making an impact in the later stages where it's the hardest for Serqet to make the impact. Early game, it's pretty easy for Serqet. You're normally only going up against 1 or 2 members. Your Cobra's Kiss is putting the enemy where you want them. This is one of those scenarios where in a 5v5 team fight, Qvo has been able to blink into the back line, CC the target he wants, put the damage into him that he wants, and be able to confirm it. Now, Ataraxia has both relics available now. I don't know if he didn't use those or if they had just come up. But either way, that's a tough pill to swallow for Obey Alliance to knock at that left side Phoenix.
Yeah, this is really tough for Serqet players here in the late game. Because, I mean, that's one of the rare times, you mentioned it, that we actually got to see the confirmation of the damage turn into a kill. A lot of times you want that. A lot of times the player winds up leaving with about 10% HP or so, just because of the nature of how these numbers work in the late game. So the fact that QvoFred was able to confirm the kill, very important. And he'll have to internalize how that went down, because if Team Dignitas wants to win this one, they're going to have to replicate that again and again.
And look at what Ataraxia has picked up as his consumable, the 3K Elixir of Defense. So now he's going to be able to be much tankier to the damage from both Zyrhoes and QvoFred. I mean, tankier to everyone's damage, but those are the 2 most relevant to him in this matchup. And I love this selection. The 3K power pot, yeah, it feels great to hit people for 1 million, but you're going to be able to hit people for like 500,000 a couple times because you're still going to be alive with the 3K defense pot.
That's the key for me, and it's always been sort of that's why the height of the urchin conversation was so interesting to me, because for me the defensive pot has almost always been the right way to go, because at 6 slots you're already killing people in three or four shots. You buy the power pot, you're doing the same thing, 3 or 4 shots. You buy the defense pot, you are outliving and able to deal those 3 or 4 shots more consistently. So when you're up this much, yeah.
Oh,
dude,
Xaliea going right in, 3-man knockup, and look at where Zyrhoes is, isolated. Nice jump by Ataraxia to get himself out of that. Now Zyrhoes and the rest of Dig are on the run.
The backside.
Who comes from that way?
It's PrettyPriMe
there.
It's PrettyPriMe. Arkyl's gone. Variety's gone. Next up could be Trixtank blinking forward, jumped on top, silenced out as well. Going to be followed up all the way into the base and the right side. Phoenix is gone as well. Team Dignitas can't play defense this far. It's going to be one dead bird. Mid Phoenix is respawned. This one likely to fall as well. Qvo, I don't know about that
Twig. Look at where Twig's coming from, right around the back. Qvo, he's got no beads. He's got very low HP. One more shot should do it, but he gets to the fountain before the Raijin finishes him off.
So does the support player mid lane Phoenix. Down for the count. Obey Alliance on the retreat, looking towards the Fire Giant if they even need it. They absolutely do. Defense has played fantastic defense so far.
That was just prime. Who comes from that way? He looked like Sinosure playing Raijin jungle, coming around the backside of a team fight and banging on the drums right away. I mean, that was something that I'm sure caught Dignitas off guard. You never really expect that big mage damage to come from behind.
You know who comes that? You know who comes from that direction?
Transonics.
Yes, Transonics, absolutely, but also Zyrhoes, and I think that's interesting. I think that's kind of funny. Zyrhoes.
As Morrigan, yeah, but as Raijin, like that was just.
Well, it's funny because like commentary, when you're doing commentary, you're kind of like zoomed. There's a lot of times where like I'm looking at a team fight and calling it, and the reason we're up here multiple people, it's kind of like being a sniper and a spotter, where like you're looking at the mess of the team fight, and the guy and your spotter, your chair 2 is like looking at like cooldowns and like wraparounds and stuff. I didn't like you don't even notice that he's there until just there's a Raijin, just boom, boom, boom. And you're just like, what's going on? He's dead. What do you point at?
This Kappa just chasing Variety down.
Hey!
Oh man.
We need one from you.
When the time is
No.
I'm not just gonna do it right now.
Well, he just tossed it. It's gonna.
Yeah, it's not ready right now.
Look, it's gonna chase Trixtank to it. Oh, it just died.
So sad.
It like holds its heart. It's
Bible
like,
thump.
I'm dead.
It's a very theatrical death.
Yes, it is. It's a good word. Obey Alliance. Left side, one more time. They weren't able to topple this Phoenix last time. I expected in this team fight, by the way, Ryan.
Don't look at me.
No, I expected. I'm absolutely looking at you. That is an impression you don't want to do on camera.
You're probably right.
Team Dignitas left side trying to play defense. Zyrhoes up in front. Might not be where he wants to be, but where he has to be. QvoFred zoning out PrettyPriMe, doing a ton of damage. The ultimate comes out, and Arkyl's able to confirm the kill. It's a 4-on-5. 25-10, Obey Alliance looking to change that. Variety by himself, very deep, up and down with the ultimate. That's curious. Meanwhile, the Titan getting beaten on by a lane full of minions. Still trying to bring the fight to the enemy, but if one goes down, the rest will follow. Variety falls to Ataraxia.
Ataraxia just doing so much damage. Qvo going to bring him down very quickly, but CaptainTwig is going to set up Xaliea for another kill. It's only Zyrhoes and Trixtank left alive again. The damage dealers from Obey are dead, but they've got only 2 members left to worry about on Dignitas.
Obey Alliance have Xaliea, EmilZy, and CaptainTwig. Oh, that's how they win it? Is that how they win it? Is that how they win it? The lone Nene Kappa taking on the Titan? What down does it make? Hey! And 10% left of the Titan. Obey Alliance are going to 2-0 Team Dignitas with a little bit of help from the jungle Kuzenbo himself, CaptainTwig.
Okay, Now this is me mentally preparing myself to deal with Kuzenbo jungle in all of my ranked games. Still not ready.
See, this is another reason why you should have been playing Smite with me all along. You could have gotten used to Kuzenbo jungle in all of your ranked games.
How many Kuzenbo jungle games have you played personally?
I refuse to answer.
Because it's 0.
That's actually incorrect.
You've actually done that?
I play with Ron Jobert. You have no idea what we play.
Bless.
Either way, with the victory for Obey Alliance, that puts them solidified into the #1 seed as we head into our postseason. Super Regionals is what we're going to take a look at. Top 4 teams from Europe go ahead and duke it out. Obey Alliance on top to take a closer look. It's Anatoly, and it's Kuzenbo.
Thank you, F. and Aggro, for bringing us such a fascinating, exciting, riveting Kuzenbo jungle game. I'm joined on the desk by Ron Jobert. Kuzenbo jungle is real, man.
He did it. The madman actually did it. He's been tweeting about it, and we thought he was trolling, and he just whipped it out, and he, you know, he really shell-shocked us.
He definitely did, yes. I don't know how you're still on the caster. God help us all for Ron Jobber. Let's take a look at the European standings after that one. Dignitas not able to find the victory here. Obey Alliance will secure themselves that first seed. Dignitas second, Rival third, Elevate fourth. Those are your 4 teams heading to Super Regionals. Right underneath for them, Valence Squad is going to be your final boss out of Europe with Energy right behind them. Both Poppies and Burrito getting relegated, but still in the gauntlet.
As expected, Energy's in 6th place. Like, what is happening? Like, Energy being in 6th place is actually insane. Like, nobody probably expected that. Nobody, if you said that, seemed like they were smart. like Team Rival going to Super Regionals over Energy, not surprising. Energy being 6th, very surprising.
I mean, Energy, you know, they kind of dropped the ball here so far this split, but they'll have a second chance. But recapping this split here, Obey Alliance in that second game, surprising us all. I personally thought it was Hazer that brought that kind of surprise pick with the Kuzenbo jungle.
I mean, that is the game, you know, they win the first, and they're defined as the first seed. It's like, that's it. But then they bust out the Kuzenbo, and they go, oh, they're trolling. And then it's like, CaptainTwig, he plays it very well, does like the most damage on his team. I guess it just works.
Honestly, you could bait out so many abilities. This is a god that's not necessarily your straightforward playstyle. He's more of a patient god that you're trying to really create havoc in the backline. That's exactly what CaptainTwig does. He has so many different styles and identities when he plays the game that he can go for the typical assassin, go for the utility jungler Odin, or go for something like this.
This was the classic CaptainTwig gets ahead, he invades, he stays ahead the entire game, and QvoFred being behind, not that kind of player where once they get behind, they're just shut out. But both these games, QvoFred was kind of just left, like lost.
Not able to really make anything happen as the jungler out of Dignitas or Zyrhoes in the mid lane, playing that soul, doing so much damage there. But let's go ahead and talk about the soul laner Xaliea here, going 11-0-10 on this Kukulkan.
Xaliea looked like he could do literally anything. Xaliea on this Kukulkan, he's been playing it a lot this split. He's been doing a great job, and he has the positioning, he has the awareness to do it. He has the kind of rage passive meter timing down, and it seems like he's probably the best Kukulkan playing it right now.
The way he's been playing the past couple of weeks reminds me of the old Xaliea we've all known and loved. He's just on a whole nother level. And we were talking about Obey Alliance's former solo lane roster between Variety, Maniac, and Xaliea. And like we were talking about, just nothing has changed. This team is firing on all cylinders.
Based on Xalia's performance this split, granted Obey has only lost literally 1 game, I don't know that they're better with Maniac. Like they lose Maniac, and based on Xalia's performance, it seems as though he can fit into literally any character. Granted, he has been playing a lot of the frontline warriors, but he's been doing a lot more than Maniac has been doing for Energy.
Well, with this first seed from Obey Alliance, it seems that they're going to be facing off against Elevate more than likely for that Super Regionals. But let's recap the earlier set here. Poppies against Burritos. The battle for that 7th, 8th seed spot, and it went the distance. You called it, Ron Jobert. It was a split.
The split and the tiebreaker, everybody wanted it. I called it. I was just, you know, I was doing the people justice. This going into game 3, like, Burrito had that lead. I'm pretty sure they had like a 10K lead at like 20 minutes, but they lost it. They fell apart like a bad Burrito.
It seemed, oh my God. I have to follow that up, but I can't right now. I'm going to talk about that failed Fire Giant attempt by Burrito instead there. Draco Marino just kind of walking in there and stealing it over everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how he stole it. Looked like he got it with maybe a hammer or even an auto attack. We don't have that on the camera, but he definitely just jumped in and just did something, stole the Fire Giant, and literally won the game.
How much pressure is that on Ferricrik playing the Zeus, though, for him to secure it? Because that's your job as a mid-mage.
Yeah, especially with Zeus, who has a really good secure. That's very unfortunate that he wasn't able to do that. Granted, you know, they're all sitting there. They probably didn't expect a Fafnir with single target damage to steal the Fire Giant, but you should be able, especially with Giant AoE, to kind of, you know, make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but look at the earlier team composition from Burrito there. They were pulling out the Habwa jungle for Johnny, and he was doing work with it in game number 1.
Johnny, you know, they're banning the Ao Kuang. Johnny has a really good Ao Kuang. Granted, banning Ao Kuang is definitely a ranked player move, but Johnny has a really good Hebo too. You know, he has really good positioning, and you can kind of play Hebo and Ao Kuang the same way, you know. His ultimate, especially when someone is low, is an execute just like that whenever he steals a Portal Demon. It's basically an execute at that point.
And honestly, the team composition from Poppies, it was a good idea to run this Hebo, not only in the jungle, but also in the soul lane for Creed because of that carpet, mitigating a lot of the slows. But unfortunately for Burrito, they weren't able to find the victory there. They're going to fall here to that 8th seed spot.
Yeah.
It's going to wrap things up here for Europe, but there's still North America action tomorrow. Let's take a look at the schedule for tomorrow so far. It's Allegiance against Noble. These two teams are going to be battling, trying to avoid relegations. E-United against Luminosity, battling for 1st and 2nd. 3rd set, battle for relegations. Yet again, Trifecta Space Station battling for seeding.
I think that this week, Aggro's been saying it, you know, this might be the most important week in the SPL's history, especially considering that we're losing 2 teams, we're going down to 6, and the 7 and 8 teams are relegated. But, you know, going into Worlds, like, especially going into HRX this year, we have, like, no confirmation of who's going to be playing.
That's right. All these teams are going to Super Regionals, trying to get to HRX, but you can join them as well if you go to hi-rezexpo.com. Use that code SMITE15 for 15% off and join all of the players and Ron Jobert.
Yeah, you can come and punch me for all of my dumb stuff I say on the desk, which totally can't do because that's a crime.
It's all right. I'm not going to punch you. I'm just going to go ahead and party up with you because we got another promo here.
That was
2
smooth.
times everything.
Yeah, 2 times everything, except for, you know, good feelings toward me because you're being really mean to me. And
you know why?
Why?
You didn't whip or nay-nay.
Which one would you prefer me to do?
Neither. Thank you guys so much for watching. On behalf of all of the admins, the staff, production, and all of the other casters, especially Raymond Peckies, hope to see you tomorrow for some more NA action.